Tax day is 1 week from today, and this year marks the first year that Americans are filing under the tax reform plan that President Trump and Republicans made law in December of 2017. So how are Americans feeling about it? A new NBC poll suggests not so good. 28% of those polled actually think they'll pay more in taxes this year. Only 17% think they'll pay less overall. And we can give you even more insight than that because NBC's Jake Ward spoke to a young mom who learned firsthand about the impact of the change to the tax code, changes that could affect your bottom line.
Victoria Pearl Wright says she used to look forward to filing her taxes.
Typically, I enjoy tax season just because it's easy for me to do and we typically get a refund. So I get it done as soon as possible.
But this year, instead of getting back the $5,000 Wright was expecting and that she and her husband got last year, the Houston mom found they actually owed the government money.
I called my husband immediately, crying. I was in a large amount of distress at that point because it's almost traumatizing.
With the birth of new daughter Olivia just 3 weeks ago, Wright says her family was counting on a tax refund to cover the cost of her unpaid maternity leave. Wright is one of millions of Americans for whom tax season 2019 has been a source of surprise and disappointment. According to NerdWallet, 59% of Americans who have filed a federal tax return so far have reported smaller refunds this year than last year.
6% of taxpayers are going to get a tax increase. But 6% of taxpayers in the United States, it's a big number. It's almost 10 million people.
Wright, who manages a coffee house, says that although she and her husband make less than $50,000, under new tax laws, they don't qualify for an earned income credit. And they're no longer able to claim the personal deductions they claimed last year. She is among those taxpayers for whom the change in the tax code is a very big deal. Who else is feeling the squeeze? Well, those living in higher tax areas. Under old tax code, taxpayers could deduct state and local taxes, known as SALT, at tax time. But the new law caps the SALT deduction at $10,000 per household. And then there are employees who get a W-2 form and routinely knocked off work-related expenses, stuff they had to buy for their job, ranging from travel costs to union dues. Under new tax laws, they can no longer claim those deductions. President Trump has argued that the new tax code his administration enacted has benefited millions.
With the tax cuts, the biggest in the history of our country, tax cuts with people having a lot more money in their pocket.
And Donald Trump Jr. has defended new tax laws, tweeting that, of course, refunds are down, people are paying less in taxes, and the code is simplified. A refund means you overpaid. As for Wright, she says she and her husband are still trying to figure out what they're going to do about a lack of tax refund. To make ends meet, she's now started a PayPal Me fund and made the difficult decision to return to work later this week, 4 weeks earlier than she had originally planned.
We were really banking on the refund because we live paycheck to paycheck. We can't, in a sense, save as of right now.
NBC News technology correspondent Jake Ward joins me now. Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet is lacking a little nuance. Some people are actually getting less money back, despite the fact that they may not be paying more taxes.
That's right.
But the refund check is psychological to a lot of people, right? As a money guy, I like to tell people, in a perfect world, there'd be no refund check because you would never pay the government more money than you owed them.
Right. You are the rare person who really understands how the system is supposed to work, right? If you're getting a refund, in theory, that's the system not working correctly. They took more from you than they should have, and it's an inefficiency.
And they got to use your money rather than you.
Right, exactly. Than you getting to use it. And so what is happening, I mean, the bottom line here is that 8 million Americans right now who got a refund last year are not going to get it this year. Right. And because so many of us, including myself, pay at the very last minute, a quarter of those 8 million people have no idea that's coming. Right. We don't know yet.
So the surprise, the lack of planning, the expectation that there's going to be a check and then there isn't one.
No, people are going to panic. And I think it's for two reasons. So there's a really well-established piece of scholarship in behavioral economics, which I know you follow, that basically says that we feel the emotional impact of losing something much more deeply than we feel the emotional impact of gaining something. So even though the administration and everybody else is going to say to people, no, you got the money, it just came to you on a different schedule, people are going to feel the pain of wait, I was expecting this thing. And then the other thing I think is really important is that everyone's living hand to mouth these days. 49% of Americans can't put together an extra $400 in an emergency. People need this. I mean, Victoria, from our story, she and her husband are selling her husband's car to make up for this lack of an expected refund. So it's a big
Right, and that's the bigger problem that we need to deal with. That we continue to have a society in which people who are working class and middle class can't make ends meet.
Just can't make it happen. That's exactly right.
Jake, as always, great to see you. Thank you, my friend. Jake Ward, NBC News technology correspondent. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.